Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Technology Show, where our experts translate geek into regular speak. How do you feel about mixed reality versus virtual reality? And what are your thoughts? Gadgets or games? And where exactly are you on the battlefield of Windows versus Apple? Stay tuned for our special geek guests. And now, it's over to our Techsperts.
It is time for the Techknowledgy Show, where we translate geek
into regular speak.
And I cannot say every week because we've been on a sabbatical for 2.
We have been.
What's
true.
up?
September, my birthday just passed. You're older, you're wiser. My plank challenge, I'm up to 5 seconds less than 3 minutes. So for those who've been paying attention, yeah, pretty exciting times.
So you're a planker.
I am a planker.
He's a proper planker. Well, seeing we're in springtime and knowing how much you love flora and fauna, I'm going into App of the Week, which is...
of the week.
Picture this.
Picture this.
Picture this. Now, that wasn't a question or a statement. That was the name of the app. So I chose Picture This. As I said, I choose my apps for various reasons, but I thought being spring, and because I haven't spoken to you for a while on air, I'd find an app that you like, and it is on Android and iOS. And what it basically does, it's an app to take photographs of plants, and then you can identify the plants if you don't know what they are. You can also add plants from photos that you've taken, and it can help you identify those. What was really cool about the app is it has a plant care section as well. So if you've got a plant and you're not sure if it's an indoor plant or an outdoor plant, now I know the listeners are probably thinking we're on the Technology Show, and this guy's waxing on about plants, but if you've ever killed a plant, 9 times out of 10 it's because you've got an indoor plant outdoors or vice versa. I found that out the hard way. I bought a plant, it looked cool, stuck it in the house and it died. Aryeh, did you get a chance to download the app?
I have downloaded it and I've been playing with it.
Have you been playing? And why I also wanted to find out is to test the accuracy. So the UI is easy, it's really clean, it's really slick. Does it work? That's the question.
I've had about an 80% success rate, and that's off of 5 photos. So
are these your own photos? So you didn't actually point the camera live and take a picture and identify it?
No. I wouldn't be testing the app properly if I didn't test it properly. So
okay.
I took photos of some images. One thing that it doesn't do well, no, I can't say it doesn't do well, but there are some photos I take that are close-up of photos. You can pull from your album as well. It's not just taking photos. So some of the photos I take are quite close-up.
Oh, so it doesn't have the
perspective.
Info.
Yeah, the perspective makes it think that it's a larger photo. Now, the matching is quite impressive, and that does work. What I also really liked was just on the onboarding, and it really kind of tells you, this is how you should take a photo, this is a poor photo, this is how you should come in. Yeah, it's quite a simple app.
It's quite a cool little app. As I said, for someone like me that knows nothing about plants, I now can. And that's why I was interested to see what you said about the accuracy, because if it tells me that it's a whatever, I'm just going to believe it. I actually wouldn't know. But there's also a community. Did you see the map function that it shows you pictures of plants and where they've been taken? I don't know if you saw that on your app. So like if you were interested in specific plants, you could actually see where these pictures have been taken. So that's quite cool. I remember, I think it's the Calyx. They had that whole pollination exhibition a little while ago. I think I mentioned it even on air.
Yep.
And how well it was put together. That could be shared. So if you're into it, there it is.
It is. Well, horticulturists.
Picture that. Picture this.
Horticulturists unite.
Yeah.
No, it is kind of cool. There's a community function, so you can see where a photo was taken. It doesn't show you who took it.
So in the next few weeks, we're going to see Aryeh's pictures all over the Sydney map. He's going to start sharing.
You just might. You just might.
Right, so that's Picture This, Apple and Android. What I forgot to mention, and you might hear it in the sounds, in fact, it'll be interesting to see how this show sounds. We're in our brand new studio. I mean, that's part of the reason why we had the sabbatical, while we were setting up. So it's like weird, because there's no coffee shop noises, and there's no plates breaking or dishes dropping or being washed, or my favorite was the smoothie machine. Like every time they ran the smoothie machine, it was like this that would come through the microphone.
Yep.
Cam's going to have a much easier job now when it comes to his post, that's for sure. Not trying to make all this the racket disappear. We definitely have more space. We've got an awesome couch. I mean, you'll see the picture hopefully when I stick it up. And looking forward to getting some guests in here. I mean, it's definitely forward and on. So after all that, tech news with a Z.
It is.
What are you going to go for? Because I've just got a tab here that says the Apple extravaganza. So my tech news with a Z is all going to be about Apple. So I'm going to let you start.
You mean like the 4 big notes of news?
That's my 4 big notes of news.
Yeah,
They rock my little universe.
Honestly, dude, I really actually like what Apple launched, and I won't take away from your thunder, but I think that for a company the size of Apple, it's a pretty minimal announcement.
You taking away from my thunder.
No,
Just go to your tech news with a Z.
The tech is kick-ass. I have nothing bad to say.
I'm not even going to go into the tech. I'm just talking about the actual events.
All right. Well, I'll let you talk about the event. For me, the U.S. military has launched the prototype of what's called a molar mic. So they replace a molar with a microphone that allows you to basically bite your teeth and...
a molar, like as in the thing in the back of your mouth.
Yeah, they replace take the molar out, put a mic in, and it's a self-contained IoT device that... yeah, I don't know how good that is to have that in your face, but...
if I have to give a shout out to the Jew crew, so that's our little group chat that we have with our friends, and if we had to post that on there, you can just imagine where that conversation is going to go with Jeff and Peter.
No.
Why would they? Is that for like spying? So like if you place that you've infiltrated, they can now hear the conversation?
No, micronization, communication. It's less.
Oh, so you just talk.
It's a full-on communication device. Yeah.
Sorry, I thought it was like for spying, like it's got a.
No.
Okay, so like to actually talk and have comms, because it goes straight into your bone as well, which is the jawbone, which is where you can get sound for the ear, right?
Yeah, and it's So communication. It's also because it's inside your mouth. All the wind and the sound and stuff is stopped. So now you get chewing noises and whatever.
Would you do it if you were a military man?
Yeah, military. Sure, certainly military or. Police or, in that kind of a situation where you're quote unquote behind enemy lines, like I would definitely do that. I think that it's smart. Now, would I do it here? No, no need.
I have a cell phone, right?
No, it's already getting close with the earbuds that sort of stay in and have, an AI assistant.
I still think it's a cool invention. I mean, Chris would put that in.
Chris would put it in.
That kind of level. But so it's called the molar mic.
It's just a molar mic, yeah. I don't think it's necessarily branded. And just side note, interesting, I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast, and he had Neil deGrasse Tyson on it. And they were talking about the Space Force and the reason why, a lot of things don't get built. We wouldn't have rockets going to the moon with the SpaceX, et cetera, unless you actually had money that can be invested in something that didn't have to have a return on it. Yeah. And so the investment in technology like the molar mic or something like that, it makes sense.
Okay, well, we've got the molar mic. Can I start with the Apple event now?
Go in and
I am a fanboy.
I'll tail it with other news.
I've never ever hidden the fact that I'm a fanboy. I have to start off by saying I was disappointed. So you weren't expecting that. I was disappointed because for 2 years now I've been waiting for AR glasses, like something with a lens and augmented reality. I really, really believed in my heart of heart last year, September, we were going to see that.
Yeah, I think we had a bet this year that you said it was going to come out.
Yeah.
Boom, 1+ for a man.
So I am disappointed from that. However, they did, they kind of made up for it because, like with any little fanboy, look, bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. First of all, the watch. Okay, I've watched the watch go from version 1 to version 3, and there wasn't much of a change. Bigger battery, blah blah blah. Watch 2 started with waterproof, and Watch 3 continued, and Watch 3 then had a built-in phone, which I've used, and I think it's fantastic. But when you have to give kudos is the fact that it now has a built-in ECG. Watch 4 has got a cardiologist-approved ECG. So you can now give yourself your own ECG at home wherever you are.
So to clarify for the non-technical people, it's an electrocardiograph, and it's using electrodes that are built into the back of the watch.
Yes, and the crown. You have to touch the crown as well.
Yeah.
And the other big thing that they did, and you can see that obviously looking at an older generation, given the price tag of some of this stuff, they're probably the only people that can afford it. But they have a fall function on the accelerometer now as well.
Yeah.
So if you fall and nothing happens within a minute, it will automatically alert. So I mean, if you've got an elderly parent or someone that's prone to falling, that's a great device. If you go down and 1 minute of no activity, emergency is called. I'll push back to you and save the next part of my Apple extravaganza of tech news.
Sure. So I think continuing on with the Neil deGrasse Tyson mention, there's an AI program that has detected dozens of quote-unquote alien signals from a far-off galaxy. These bursts of sort of uncommon radio just from 3 billion light years away. And it's nobody really knows what to do about these fast radio bursts. Interestingly enough,
Jeff Goldblum.
What?
I mean, Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith. They know what to do.
No, different. Yeah, no. But also in New Mexico, there was an observatory that was vacated by the FBI, and no one's been allowed into it since. And there's a bunch of conspiracy around what was going on there. Completely unrelated, but it happened in the same week. So,
do you believe that there's intelligent life force out there?
I believe that there is the possibility of intelligent life out there for sure.
Okay, I'm 100% convinced this. I think it's the most arrogant thing in the world to think we're the only species in this massive multi-universe. But this is the technology show, not the astrology show, so I'll leave it alone.
Yeah.
It's just, that is tech that's listening to sound and light waves that are traveling, billions of miles. I think 1 light year is like 1 billion miles or something stupid. And that's the reason why we haven't seen these things. But the fact that every single day or week or month we hearing these reports that these sound effects are coming, or these, unidentified waves and frequencies, and that kind of got to believe something is making it. What that thing is, we don't know yet. Well, maybe someone does, but we don't.
Certainly.
But I'm speaking of out of this world. I'll go back to the design of my fantastic Apple phone. So I'm going to review the device. When we do a screens with a Z, I'm definitely going to look at one of the new 10s. I am surprised they left 9 out. That was a big thing, right? Last year we had the 8 and the 10, or the X, whatever you want to call it. And this year we're expecting it to kind of go to 9 because it was the 10th anniversary, and they've just dropped 9. 9 doesn't exist. Well, it's now 10S.
I've got a theory about that.
You think it's going to come next year?
Well, so 10, there's no X. I mean, it's X. It's not 10, right?
It's X.
So,
well, it's 10. They call it 10.
So I heard that 6 is afraid of 7 because 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Oh, gosh. Oh, we need to edit the show.
That was fantastic.
That's a dad joke. So I must say that I don't think Steve Jobs would have approved of what they've done with the 3 launches.
Yeah.
I personally don't know if I would go for a 10S Max. If I was going to choose the phones, I love the 10, the normal 10 factor, because it's the size of a plus from a screen real estate point of view, but it's thin like your phone, so you can hold it in a smaller hand. They've done the same thing and then just made it longer.
So my understanding, the 10 is now the smallest, which is being discontinued. The 10S is a little bit bigger.
No,
the 10S Max is even bigger than that.
No, the 10S and the 10R are the same size as the current 10.
Okay.
It's this Max that they've now added.
But the 10R is bigger as well.
Yeah, but it's also...
No,
it's... I think
the 10R is like a chassis of an 8, but it's
correct. It's
built like a 10 on the front side.
Built like a 10, but it's also got bezels around it. So I don't know what they were thinking.
Dude,
I do like the fact that they've
yellow,
carried
orange, blue, coral. The colors sound right up my alley. I mean,
the coral blue on the R is amazing. Look, they've gone off to a lower market there. That's what that is.
I'd get the orange one. It's a lower market. The screen isn't quite as good. It's got the same chip. It's got the same speed.
Yeah. So, and it's got the camera config of 8.
Yeah.
So they've kind of like used cheaper parts to make it, but still give you an iPhone that you can afford. But they've got rid of the button. The button is now gone. So they all have this facial ID and all these good stuff. as I said, we'll review it. I mean, one of us will get it, or we'll find one to go and play with, or we'll just go and pop into an Apple store and play when they come out next week. I do think what you've pointed out, and it's been all over the news. I was reading it, I think it was in the Economist or the New York Times, about what we don't know as consumers, that the repair bill on this device, you might as well buy a new device. They're talking like $700 or $800 on a screen. Wow. You know, that's so basically if you buy any of the new 10s, you need to buy a cover that you could drive a forklift over, which kind of negates the whole purpose of an edge-to-edge screen, because you're going to have this big plastic rubbery thing protecting it. But that was quite a scary little announcement. So guys, it's a technology show. We're here to help. If you are looking at a 10, I must be honest, I'd love to get my hands on one. But bear in mind that if you drop it, you might as well go back to your 8, because to spend the money to repair it's going to be nuts.
Totally.
What else you got on Tech News with a Z?
I think what's been really interesting, there's been a lot of changes with, not changes, AI is still, the buzzword, but it's some interesting robotics built. So there's a robot child that was built that can weep and bleed on command.
Oh my God.
And it's to be used.
Why?
For training in hospitals and training with pediatric wards and helping deal with children. And
the next Hollywood movie coming out, right, is this thing that now comes to life.
Yeah.
What's it called? What do they call the doll? Bleedy? Cryy?
Super Tori.
Tori.
Tory.
So now you're going to see Tori the possessed. The possession of Tori. Tori, the murderous, bleeding, weeping. Her blood is yours. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So is it to teach people, or is it to teach kids, or is it for nurses?
Nurses, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And along those lines, there was a really cool animatronic robot of Abe Lincoln.
That was cool.
I don't know if you saw that.
I did see that.
So
that
cool.
That went viral, actually.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just what do you call it? Just the facial features on it were just totally crazy.
I'm trying to think where I've seen an animatronic of Abe before, and I'm going to say it was Epcot Center in Disney World in Florida. I seem to remember when you go around the World Showcase, there was an animatronic section, like when you go around so for those people that don't know what the World Showcase is, that big silver ball in Orlando in Disney World, that's called the Epcot Center, and all the way around it are countries. Like as you walk every 30 or 40 meters, you change countries. I think there's 20 countries there, and America's one of them. And they have an Abe Lincoln animatronic. It's old, but I was quite impressed.
Yeah.
But this one that you're talking about, dude, maybe share the link when we do the post. It's actually worth looking at. It's unbelievable how realistic it is. And I think what I liked about it, I don't know if you were going to mention this, I'm not trying to steal your thunder. My moan about CGI in movies and even in games is it doesn't look real.
Yeah.
The skin and the human skin never looks real.
Yep.
If they start making animatronics like this and then putting them into movies and games,
scary.
We don't need actors.
Yeah.
It's just nuts.
I think the term from the Transient Geek Native Speak side of things is we call it the uncanny valley. And
I'm actually looking at it now. So I mean, I know people can't see. We're on radio. Aryeh's got it open now, and I'm just looking at it again. It's absolutely ridiculous. When his head shakes, his hair even moves. Yeah. It's mad that they've come up with this.
Put this kind of facial expression and features onto Sophia.
Correct.
And it's game over.
Because that's also, she had that flubber, whatever. The skin was quite good, but it still looked like a mannequin, right?
Yep.
That's insane. In fact, you saying that, that these two are talking, right? Let's call it. I mean, you've called it there. The Sophia guys at Singularity with this animatronic company, because the animatronics is not what Sophia is about, it's the AR.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yep. Very cool.
That's really cool. You got anything else on tech news with a Z?
I do.
What you got? Because I'm just going to carry on with Apple, so I'll leave it for now.
So, a lot of people use VPNs, virtual private networks, to be able to surf, quote unquote, safely or, without people snooping on them.
Well, even if you're in places like China, and then you have to get past their firewalls.
Yeah. So the new Tor browser, Tor, has been announced, and so that's really just if you really don't want to be tracked and you want to do your things and surf the dark web.
I was going to say, let me put a caution out there right now.
Dark web. You can buy anything and do anyone in the dark web.
So I think we'd have to
Sorry.
we'd have to do a customer service here.
Don't go
You've
the
heard
dark
of the
web.
dark web.
Yeah.
The Tor browser is pretty much the gateway to get there. Unless you know what you're doing, do not open it, because pathways are two directional. You open a Tor browser, you open your device. I had someone on my previous show. She was an ex-hacker, and she showed me a couple of things on Tor. And what she did is she had a little script running, and it showed how much traffic was inbound.
Incoming, yeah.
And it was ridiculous. You remember the Matrix? Like when those things all come flying through the hole, those like squid-looking electronic murderous device things?
Feels like that.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah, no.
So guys, unless you really, really know what you're doing, please don't play with Tor browsers. It's just, it's not worthwhile.
So tell me about 3D touch, because I'm not really sure I understand what that does.
What, on the phone?
Yeah, like an Apple. Because it's built into all the phones. The R doesn't have it. The other
So
ones do.
3D touch is basically the next version of Force touch.
So how hard you push.
Correct. So Force, you've got that as well now with your stylus. You can push harder or softer.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So for those of you that haven't used an iPhone, if you use a normal phone and you hold your finger down on the screen, it brings up a menu. It's like a right click. Okay. And that's normally for copy or paste or speak, whatever. On the iPhone, since about the 7, I think, or the 6S, it's been a while, you've had a thing called Force Touch. And Force Touch means if you push hard and long, it brings up one menu. If you push softly, it brings up another menu. The 3D Touch now is kind of working the same way, but within the touch will bring up additional menus that you can now navigate and move within. I think it's because they've replaced the button that they need that, because the button, if you on any of the devices has the home button, you can use the button for same things as well, like Apple Pay. You need to have some form of verification. I think that's where 3D Touch comes into it. I am going to make a prediction. I think Samsung's already got it. I don't know when we'll see it, but I do believe that your fingerprint will be read in screen within the next year.
There's a Chinese phone that has it.
That's what I'm saying.
Which one?
But it doesn't work properly though. I've seen the test on that. I know that Samsung's got the technology. They started already with their buttons, and in fact, if you take any of the buttons, it's effectively is a screen. It's a layer. So I think your next Samsung, the 10 or whatever it was, will come out with no buttons, no home screen, and everything on fingerprint. There'll be a section like certain, but that's what 3D Touch is.
So I'm going to do a bit of Google news, and I'll let you have the news that you've been waiting all day to go about. It has to do with number 9.
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
No. I know what you want to say.
What do I want to say?
But I'm going to tell you, folks, if you are Google Docs users, or if you're not Google Docs users, you really should consider getting on there, because not only does it have the power of Google capabilities, thesaurus, dictionary, etc., and everything that Google does, it's free. It now has Grammarly integrated in, so it will actually not only check your spelling, but it will check your grammar and make recommendations.
I used to use Grammarly.
Yep.
That was an extension on Chrome.
Yep.
I remember
so they've built it into Google Docs, and
that's cool.
It
doesn't work all the time though. That's the problem with Grammarly, and I think it's also if it's got an American or British setting.
Yeah, not only that, it's cool in the sense that it makes your life easier. It's kind of sad that we're further going to be dumbed down to, relying on technology. I mean, what happens when the internet breaks and people just can no longer, they lost their, I'm hungry, I want food, give me eat.
I don't know how many times we've talked about George Orwell in the show, but he called it, man, that new speak that he talks about in the book.
Just straight up emoji.
It's the same thing, man.
Happy face, sad face.
You could just see if you're going to have to walk around with these little like flip charts.
Totally.
The happy and no, I don't know.
Dish it out. Come on, give it to me.
What? I don't know what the number 9 is.
Oh my God.
I don't. Tell me.
Allegedly.
A
Note 9.
I wasn't even going to go there, man.
Go there, bring it out.
I just said that for you. I didn't even make it public.
No. I saw the
you've
news as
opened
well.
it.
I saw the news as well.
Okay. allegedly a Samsung Note 9 caught fire in New York. I'm going to actually even call bullshit on that for 2 reasons. Okay. One, if it did happen, we would have seen it on the news. Without, there's been no reported, like the lady that it apparently happened to has not come forward, has not done anything, and no one's found her.
It would have been more, yeah.
It would have been more. Number 2, there is no way in hell that Samsung can afford that to ever happen again.
Mm-mm.
They dodged the bullet on the 7 because they owned up to it and they did what they had to do. The 8 has been fine. And I think, guys, as much as Aryeh and I like to have a go between iOS and Android, even Apple batteries blow up, even Sony batteries blow up, and they all do. And that's actually got to do with how you treat the device and if you're using real cables or fake cables. In fact, let's use this right now. If you buy a phone and you use the original charger with the original cable set to the original setting, the chances of anything going wrong with that phone are very slim because they all have little chips inside them that regulate them. If you don't want to cough $25, and I don't blame you, for an original cable, because you can buy one for $2 or $3 on Wish or Geek or any of these sites, you need to understand that it might not have the technology in there that regulates the charge. And you might be causing problems to your device. It's not the device. I mean this sincerely. I seriously hope we're not seeing another battery gate.
Yep.
Because that will put Samsung out of business. You'll probably find that the telecommunication companies will actually take away their license to get aerials.
Yep. Because
that would be 2 out of 3.
Yep.
But I do believe that. So it was just an article I found, and I sent it to Aryeh because that was in our banter. When you're talking about the 9, I'm like trying to think, what are you talking about the 9? Because of the there's no iPhone 9. But I'm actually going to call bullshit on that as fake news because I didn't see it.
Yep.
And it's because Apple's just launched their phone, so it kind of makes sense.
So, yeah, it's something to come out. I mean, I saw the article myself, and I was like,
yeah, I'm not too sure
about
that. You want to wrap tech news with a Z?
The only one I'll throw
one
out
more
is the viral video, and this is the Weather Channel has deployed
that's
new
brilliant.
CGI to show how high the water is.
I'm glad you took. So tell everyone what that is, and then I'm going to ask you a question on that.
Sure. So I've seen 2 different ones, a woman and a man. They're talking about Hurricane Florence in the U.S. and hope everyone's going to be okay and stuff over there. But
it's looking bad. China, Hong Kong had one.
Hong Kong had it. Philippines had it. Thailand had, there's been crazy stuff going on, and probably lots of views for this Weather Channel stuff. But basically, it shows a person standing at ground level and what it would look like, the flood levels around them.
Yeah,
and
it's quite scary. Yeah,
it feels very much. What's that movie with Charlton Heston?
When the big wave comes through the city.
No, the one with the parting of the Red Sea.
Oh,
10 Commandments.
Moses. 10 Commandments. Yeah.
It's very much like that. But when you see this car,
you see them standing in this water around them.
Yeah, it's totally creepy.
What I wanted to ask you about that, because we're going to get into that next, is the XR section. Would you classify that as some form of XR? Would it be AR? Because I saw that on a lot of the forums that are kind of linked to augmented reality, and I'm not quite sure that's AR. It is augmenting the experience.
For her, sure.
For her, yes, but not for us, no.
Nah, then that means every movie's AR.
Yeah, you see, it was under an AR forum, and I was like, I didn't think that this falls into that space.
It's a bit. You could call it the mixed reality kind of a thing because you're doing the entire reality.
It's just it's just effects, right?
Unless we can go in and put on our headset and experience that.
Now that would be a cool experience. So when you start watching news in VR or with a headset, that would be really cool. There's a tsunami coming, you could actually sit inside and experience it.
Yeah, well, that would be totally nuts.
Cool. Do we wrap?
That's a wrap.
Awesome.
It's been a few weeks, and sometimes you forget, what something tastes like or how amazing something sounds. And
oh no, it isn't. Is that what time it is?
It's what it.
I can bounce. Look, my share's got a spring.
We are back. You've got a bounce, and it's time for the AMB split test.
Yeah, boy.
Yes.
Well, this is an interesting one. So the AMB this week is Gmail versus Gmail. There we go. Right?
It is.
But it's important because I've just got the update. Yes, I'm on a Mac. I know I'm slower, blah, blah, blah. So the reason we're going to do Gmail versus Gmail is because Gmail is actually very, very different. The new version. Aryeh, you've had it for about 2 weeks already, haven't you? I literally got it like almost 3 days ago.
Almost a month. And
Okay.
I'll tell you what, I am not
Not a fan.
I'm not happy. I'm not enjoying it. There's just
So let's start off. Have you got a list of the new things that have come in? Or just 3 or 4 quick pointers? Because if anyone's used Gmail, it's actually quite a plain mail client.
Yep.
It's nothing fancy, which is probably the appeal.
Yep.
My complaint with Gmail was always I could never find the shit because it pulls conversations together.
Yep.
Which has now changed a bit. So what is it that you've seen in the new features and that obviously you don't like?
So first of all, Gmail's been pretty good about, once you set rules in place about filtering where your email goes into different folders.
Yes.
And so that hasn't changed, but I think that's been enhanced. Where you really see differences is what you can do off the bat with a mail. So, read and unread is no longer coming from a drop-down menu, right?
No. Yeah, I do miss that.
You've got more with quick replies. What you see in the visibility, you can, when an email comes in that has attachments, it'll actually show you what the attachments are underneath. And so...
You don't like that?
I do like that.
I love that.
like that.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's just what was, very clearly laid out with a lot of space is now they've packed a whole bunch of little buttons and icons as opposed to text-based. And so I think it's just a matter of getting used to, but it's a very big change. The other one from a design perspective, gone from boxes to sort of rounded edges.
Yeah, it's very Apple-y.
Ovally, and I'm not sure, why. I'm okay with it, but
I'll shed some light on that. So, and I actually have to ask you a question first. I don't know if it's an Apple thing or if it's now in the new Gmail. Have you noticed that your command icons at the top are transparent? So like your delete button, your file, your archive button along the very top, on top of your list. I don't think you'll see it on mobile. I've noticed mine are transparent. So in the old Gmail, when it was very blocky, you have archive, delete, more options, flag, etc. They're like little widgets along the top. Mine are very transparent. You can actually see the mail underneath them. I do not like that. That's a very, very Apple design. Have it. Just now I've said, have a look on your Windows machine next time.
It's less of transparency; it's more the size of the icon.
Oh no, mine's transparent. It's like it's actually there. But
that doesn't sound. Like
so it could be a Mac thing because Mac does the transparent layers.
Yep.
The thing that I love it's as if they've sat down and spoken to the guys at HubSpot, because all those things about the files being attached, the forward, all the little commands that now sit within the preview of the mail, very HubSpot-y. And with the HubSpot integration, I've always used it. I mean, I'm a fan of HubSpot. I must say, I was given the choice to go back. It like Google always does. I don't know how long that lasts for, but they give you a choice to go back to what they call classic view, so you don't have to upgrade. I'm sure you will eventually. But I wouldn't go back. I really, really do like it. I find the conversations now when I it opens it straight away, to where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because before I had to almost scroll up and down if there were more than 7 or 8 emails in the conversation. They've got that better. There's something that's missing, and I can't. It was the unread view. That's missing. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't see that properly at all, and I was just like, I didn't understand that.
Well, that's I think where some of the buttons and stuff are the way they've done it is just it's hard. You're not used to it, and where there was a lot of space and a lot of white space before, they really kind of packed stuff in. A couple new features that are depending on how you use email are pretty cool. One is you can snooze a mail.
Yes, that was the
right?
one.
And that's quite interesting. So you can postpone it to a future date when you want to actually deal with it.
Okay, so now I have to give a shout out to BlackBerry there. Everyone's always mocked me about carrying a BlackBerry as well. And besides the fact that it has the physical keyboard, which I love, it's on BlackBerry Hub, which is where all your messages come in. Everything from emails to text to Insta to Facebook. It all comes into one spot, and that I love. The other thing is snooze, and you can snooze by time or snooze by location. So if I get private mail that I just don't have time to deal with at work, I go snooze by location, select home, and when I get home, that mail comes back into my mailbox.
Yep.
Now, the new Gmail doesn't do that, but it does do time and custom setting time.
Yep.
Hopefully they will listen to the show, because we know Google listens to our show and dotes on every word we say.
Every week.
Every week. In fact, we got an email from Larry just saying, like, where have you been for 2 weeks? That would be something I'd love to see as an evolution of snooze as they go. But just the snooze alone, well done. Because that, I mean, let's be honest, I don't know, we get 200 emails a day?
Sure.
200 emails a day? And there's just times where you want to read something, but you just don't want to see it in your timeline. Snooze.
You've got, and this is not new. This is something that they introduced before they did the whole redesign, but suggested replies and follow-ups. So
Yes.
little messages say, "Oh, thank you," or
That's coming
"Yes,
from
I'll
their
do it."
deep. What's their thing
Deep
called? Deep
mind.
mind. That's
Deep
coming
mind.
from their deep mind learning. Huh?
Yep.
But I must say that, it's an A and B split. It's not like you do have a choice. You can stay on classic. I'm going to advocate to move to the next one for 2 reasons. One, there's better security. We didn't discuss that. They've upgraded their security filters. So their spam filters are better. Their security is better. It just looks better. And it's like any change, right? You kind of, I don't like this, I don't like that. But within 2 months' time, it's like, why was it never like this before? So go for it. I would suggest changing. You can change back. They have sunsetted their Google Mail client.
Inbox.
The inbox, it's gone. So if you were hoping to still use that, sorry.
Yeah.
It's gone.
And this is really mostly everything on desktop, but the integration of tasks, calendar, and keep built into it is actually really cool.
That's very cool. Only on desktop though. Yeah, you don't see that on the that actually. And it's so funny how you've mentioned that. So it used to pain me that I had to click the little buttons to open my calendar and then open another tab. My Mac's running slow, as you know. Chrome and my Mac just don't talk well. So I sit there waiting for now it's all there in that little dock. Love it. Well done, Google. I think Gmail is really, really a great mail client now. And of course, it's cross-device. I was typing on my phone and then I opened my Chrome browser and Gmail and it was there in draft. It was really there, like handoff.
Yeah.
So
but that's been
good job.
That's been forever.
I've never noticed it before.
Okay.
It was there. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Cool.
So cool. Gmail versus Gmail.
A and B split test.
Boom.
Yeah.
Done. It is time for, as Angela would say, X-rated, or we like to call it extended reality.
XR.
XR. Where are we going first?
I think we'll go to Antarctica first.
Okay. Are we in VR?
We are in virtual reality.
Nice.
And
Let's
this
go to
is Australian Perth filmmaker Breege Whitehead delivers Antarctica in virtual reality. So it's a 360 video.
Okay.
And
Let me guess about Antarctica.
Look, Antarctica.
But what is it like, immersing you into all the white and the
penguins, the seals,
that should be
all
quite
that kind
cool.
of stuff. I think if you decide to go into that, turn on a fan so you can feel a bit of a cold breeze.
I was going to go sit in the
go sit in the
like
freezer.
what do you call them? A cold room, yeah. That's coming though, right? People are going to be, as our home technology gets better and better, we're going to start doing things like that with fans. We've seen them. We've talked about the fans that spray water and all kinds of stuff. I like the fact that content is becoming topical now every single week. We've got something else that comes up, and I'll stay with content. Magic Leap, the most disappointing launch in all time. Yes, I said it. I mean, how long did we wait for Magic Leap? And it's just been meh. Anyway, the reason I'm bringing them up, do you remember it was like 2 years ago, 2016, there was that video that went viral about a big whale splashing down in the gymnasium. And this was to show what VR and AR could do. That was a Magic Leap production. They were basically using that to describe what they're doing. Well, the good news is on the ML1, which is their now recently released over $2,000 headset, you can now see that and wait for it in far lower res than it was in 2016. So we've waited 2 years to watch that content in lower res.
Yeah, no,
it's just, it really.
I've watched 2 different very lengthy reviews of the M1 and Magic Leap from a user interface perspective, it's almost like someone's like 1960s vision of the future, and they've just completely missed the boat.
Yeah. Do you think they just took the money and ran and thought, oh shit, we better put something out there? What have you got lying around? Let's just launch it.
I don't know.
Or do you think they had to pay back the money and now they had to sell it? They've even talked about a Magic Leap conference coming up in October. Who's going? 5 people maybe have bought it. 6?
Yeah, I don't know if it was a joke or someone just taking the piss out of them, but they're saying that they were literally giving them away because they were saying, well, we're just going to build this construct and people will create content in it. But
$2,000 is not giving away.
And from the videos I've seen, there are maybe 2 out of like 20 different demos that people put together that look really cool. The rest of them are way like subpar compared to the HoloLens.
I think for those that haven't listened to the show before and that or maybe don't know Magic Leap was something that was supposed to be awesome. It was supposed to be proper mixed reality. The Microsoft HoloLens kicks its ass left and right of center every day of the week. And I'd rather have a Daydream for $99 than have a Magic Leap when it comes to like actual 360. It's probably one of the most upsetting fails in the extended reality space. It's just, maybe it will get washed under the carpet along the way. But anyway, you can watch the whale in low res on Magic Leap 1. Yep. What you got?
So following on with the cold motif, there was a...
Cold.
the cold chili. There was a conference called SIGGRAPH, SIGGRAPH in 2018. And there was a VR device that simulates wind movement on a user's arm. And what this allows
so it makes like a skin tingle.
It's like on your wrist. So depending on how hard the wind blows, matched with the haptic feedback from the controller, you get that much more of a realistic
That's
feeling.
really cool, like especially if you're training people in outdoor environments. And they need to feel what wind does.
If you have a gun, sometimes when you fire guns at feedback, you get a puff of wind or a small puff of... So it's that added bit of more tactile feedback, more experience.
I must tell you, it would be good for motorbike training. So I've recently started riding my little Hunter scooter. It's not little, it's awesome. But anyway, and last night when I was driving home, the wind was incredibly hectic. And I actually felt scared. I felt like I was being blown. You know, like when you drive in a car and the car shakes and you say to your passenger, it's not my bad driving, that's the wind. Well, I've said that. I experienced that sitting on a bike. It's not fun. But staying with feeling, there's a company called B Haptics. So like the letter B, B for Brett. And they're working on a haptic suit. No, that's not news. But the sole aim is to be comfortable and easy to put on and off. Yeah. That's the news.
Yeah.
Now, it's very Ready Player One type of influence. If you've watched the movie, the guy just jumps into a jumpsuit like a onesie, zips it up, puts his headset on, and he's ready to go. That's exactly what these guys are doing. They're saying their main focus is comfort and your ease and speed to put the suit on. You shouldn't have to fiddle around with the straps. You should just be able to put it on and put off. Because you've seen haptic suits. I mean, we've seen how they set up the screens with all the nodes and the little wires that come out of it. It can probably take you 20 minutes to suit up to experience.
Well, that's Elon Musk's electric shock shirt.
There we go. So I'm quite excited about this. I definitely want to follow this company because if you're going to have that full immersed experience, now taking what you've just said with these SIGGRAPH or what was it? SIGGRAPH
2018 was the event, yeah.
Wind, air, cold, temperature. If all these things can be regulated through a full body suit, we're in for fun. I mean, imagine like skydiving and you feel how your clothes flap against you when it stimulates it through haptics.
You just need the that water recycling thing from Dune the movie, and
I think you could trick yourself though. If you could use haptics and visual stimuli to make yourself think that you're getting wet, they probably could do that through a suit.
I mean,
that suit
thing you can pee in it and then you can recycle it and drink water.
You'll never leave. You joke about that. I heard scary stories about how gamblers, like high rollers, used to wear adult diapers or nappies for Australians to sit at the table so that if they're in a run, they could literally just go and not have to leave the table.
Yeah.
So it's the same. Like you go to Tilt Brush and stay there for days because you could just go.
This is more of a tech news bit, but I saw on TV that
there are kids
addicted to, Fortnite, the new one, some block game coming out, and 14 hours playing straight and just
I can believe that,
everything.
man. I cannot pull my son away from that keyboard. I have to bribe him. And then then it's like, guys, I'll be back. I'm like, no, you won't. You're going to sleep. No, I'll be back. Anyway, what else you got?
Continue with the gaming side of things. The Engine, ENGIN coin blockchain is coming out, and what it allows you to do. I mean, everyone knows, the blockchain sort of thing, but it's built on a principle like cryptocurrency, where your avatar can live across different games, and your skills and capabilities are stored and saved. So the blockchain, the ledger, stores your capabilities and what you can do. And that allows you to, have that identity and characteristics regardless of which game you're inserted in.
That's very cool.
It's interesting, yeah.
Everything's about game. There was I read something this morning, it's called quarters, like as in the American 25 cent.
Mm-hmm.
They're putting together, this has got nothing to do with XR, but I'm just carrying on with where you are. They're putting together currency now where you'll be able to take your currency in-game. So like, for example, Cade played Minecraft. Minecraft was the flavor of the month. Mm-hmm. Everyone was playing Minecraft. Then Fortnite came along. All that money that he spent on Minecraft that still had left over, he can't get. This is what these guys are trying to do. So you'll be able to take quarters with you to the next game. It's virtual currency that goes to any game. I think it's brilliant.
That makes total sense.
It's really brilliant. Back to VR. I came across a thing called Suspension House by a company called Kilograph, and they've received the 2018 Architectural 3D Award from CG Architect, computer generated. So what they do is they take the viewer, the person, into the Napa Valley, into a suspension house that's designed to show natural environments in structure. So you can experience how the house will be affected by weather. So like the wind and how it moves and changes and that. So when you're building or when you're designing as an architect, you can actually see what's going to happen to your project, your building.
Yep.
That's brilliant.
It's not actually suspended though.
No, it's VR.
It's just a proper house.
So you're building.
But it's not like for like fake bogus houses.
No, it's for you to actually understand the effect of nature on your house.
Yeah.
So they have what they call a floated floor, or when you put your foundations into the ground, you've got to go a certain depth ratio to certain width ratio to take tolerance. So it was just, I like looking for these things because they're just a different use of VR as opposed to games or entertainment.
Totally.
You got anything else?
I'll just do one more.
Yeah.
And breaking the flow of game, etc. The group called Be Another Lab.
Another Lab.
BE Another Lab. Just one word.
Okay.
Have created a VR experience where you get to exist in the body of a trans man.
Wow.
I mean, no. It's considering where the world's going, and especially this is, I think, more in the U.S. than anywhere else. But it's whether we like it or not. I think the world has changed in how we define who we are and what we are. And if you don't understand what it feels like to be a recipient of the society and how they look at you and experience it, right?
Okay, so walk in another man's shoes, basically.
Cognitive bias, unconscious bias, if you're, all kinds of reasons, even if, our friends over at Unreal, Brennan and those guys we spoke with way early.
I know
they're doing really well right now, but to be a African descent or be a man and be a woman and just experience what it feels like to receive those kinds of biases. And so again, it's it's an art experience, but it's that kind of thing where just getting to try it, and that's what VR is about, right?
Correct. I was about to say where that would actually come into good practice would be for school children. And be the recipient of on the receiving end of bullying, or even understanding culture. So let's be honest, every country in the world is now a mixed country. It doesn't matter what the extreme left or right say. We have, just sit in a train in Sydney, and there's everyone and everything. So you could live 1 week in the shoes of maybe a Muslim person, and the next week inside the shoes of a black person, and then a Chinese person, and so on, and just get exposed to the things that people say that you might have said yourself, but now you're on the receiving end of it. Especially from because if you can teach tolerance at that age, then you should eradicate it at an adult age. Absolutely. So it's another really good use of immersive technology. And it's becoming affordable as long as you don't buy Magic Leap. You would be able to put like an Oculus Go or something in every classroom, and the kids just do. I think there's far better time spent immersing kids, into situations that could hurt others than maybe like, I don't know, woodwork or knitting or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, very cool.
Totally.
That's a nice find. Before we go into AR, I've actually got one that sits for me slap bang in XR, and it kind of even plays to the news thing. It's called the Blackbird by the company called The Mill. I don't know if I shared this with you. I will put this video up, but it's a rig that transforms your car for movies into any car that you need. So you know how like with CGI, like Batman.
I've seen that.
Did you see
I've
that?
seen that. Yeah.
It is I've watched this video like 20 times.
Don't they just have an extra like a frame of a car?
It's just a chassis.
Driving?
It's
just
all
a chassis driving,
it's
and
a
then
chassis,
they make
but
the car.
what they've done is they've got this camera rig on the inside that views every possible angle, top, down, left, right, etc., that the car would see, so that the computer animator can just wrap it in suit, as if so. When you film or when you're watching the film, you're watching it from the real angle. And these cameras are like 4K, 360 degrees. The rig can extend and contract, so you can make the car bigger or smaller.
Yep.
It is unbelievable, this technology. Obviously, you don't see it. Like when you're watching the thing run around, it's a skeleton. That's all it is.
Yep.
But when you watch the video and they show you how they change colors of the car and how... Now, even for advertising, you could film your advert in this color, and then you could change the color of the car based on the targeted audience.
Save
like
so
we
much
talk about
money.
that all the time.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, it's The Mill. It's called the Blackbird, but it's by a company called The Mill. I will remember to put the link in when we post this. Yeah, I don't know if you got anything on XR. Do you want to look at AR?
I think AR. The only thing I have is Aconia holographics.
That's the only thing I had. Was for Apple.
You take it then.
No, you go for it, because was my. I was going to hope on a wing and a prayer. You talk about it, and I'll tell you that's my prayer for 2019. Tell everyone what Aconia graphics. Holographics
you
was.
go in it. I'll talk about the Rick and Morty mastermind.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So Apple has acquired Aconia Holographics, who manufactures AR lenses. Apple, if you do not come out with AR glasses, I'm sure you'll probably call it Aryeh. You see what I did there?
I did.
Did you?
I did.
Aryeh. If you do not come out with glasses in 2019, I still won't give up my iPhone, but I'm going to be really upset with you. Because, they own Mateo. They've spent so much money on their process. I mean, the new, I think it's now the Bio 12 or Bion 12, whatever their new chip is called. It does 5 billion actions in a second. They've got all the tech they need in their devices. We just need some freaking glasses now, and stylish ones, not just these clunky Magic Leapy thingies. Proper good glass.
Yep.
You wrap it up with the Rick and Morty one. Rick and Morty.
I don't know what this is, but the only thing I'd add on the Aconia holographics is that they used to develop holographic storage, and whatever that means, I don't even know.
Holographic storage.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means either.
Storage of data.
You have to translate geek into regular speak.
Storage of data and holograms, apparently. Anyway, the guys behind Rick and Morty have created a new game called When Trover Saves the Universe.
Okay.
Now, Rick and Morty, Rick's Garage or something, won an Emmy recently. And so,
that's right.
If you're out there, definitely check this out, because...
Who's Trover? Is he a character in the show?
No, it's completely separate.
Just the creators of the show.
Yeah,
okay, cool.
When Trover Saves the Universe, yeah.
Okay, we'll have a look at it. Well, it's probably a good thing we don't have a guest this week. Let's be honest, we want to check out our new gigs, so we're kind of there, man.
Yep.
That's the end of the show.
It's been good. Looking forward to coming back next week.
Right. Well, till next time, keep your screens clean and your knobs shiny.
Thanks for listening to our latest episode of The Technology Show. Remember, for more episodes, hop onto eaglewavesradio.com.au, follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Catch you next time.